This is a tying that I found very successful in the Bahamas last year. It's basically a gotcha. It's something, say I had 10 on this in a couple of days. The main material was actually bought from the Range DIY store. It is the pink material. It's this. It's very good for wings, for tails and for overbodies. Start with a TMCO size 4 811S stainless hook, and the thread is the GSP 100. This is really strong thread and you can really pull down on it. I always put a layer down first. Right up to the back of the hook. Trim that off. I always use a scalpel, but you use whatever you want. Run the thread back up towards the eye. Leave a gap, because this is where the eyes are going to go. The eyes I use for this one, a Taman real eyes. I'll just bring those a little bit closer so you can see the I like the effect, and I found that green was more successful than red last year. It probably won't be true again, but who knows. Right, just lash that. Leave a nice gap there because you're going to have to tie a head and you're going to have to put in the overwing, so you need to leave a bit of a gap. So just cross it over the other way. As tight as you can. You can really pull on this 100, and then tie around the base of it as well, and then tie over the top of it. The action of that seems to actually really lash it down a lot tighter than it would normally, and then run the thread right back to the end, right to the bend. Now they are as stable as anything. Okay, for the tail I use that Range pink crystal flash. Use 6 pieces on this one, but again this is a personal taste. Roughly twice the length. Doesn't matter if they overhang, you can always trim it off afterwards. Don't forget, this is going to imitate a prawn, so they have feelers, they have antennae. So tie that in nice and tight, and now take that round the bend, because we're tying this upside down at the moment. These are going to actually be pointing up in the air. Okay, so trim off the excess. Don't throw it away, because you can use all of this again. Probably get a second fly out of it. If not, you can use it on smaller patterns. So, right, now we're going to tie in what will be the pink overbody. As with all fly tying, these are tied in reverse, so putting this bit in next will actually be the last bit that goes over to form the body. Just lash that down, this one there, catch those again. It's not critical this, because we're going to put something over the top, so just lay those to one side. Now I use, just for the underbody to make a taper, I use this Viva's thread. Tie that in, put it back and lash it down. Doesn't have to be particularly tight, this one, but but take this round the bend to where you finished last. Okay, and take this back up to behind the eyes, over the front. Now this one is going to be in the way, so I'm going to put a double hitch in here just so I can move it out the way while I'm tying. Okay. Just rest that on something and wind the underbody in just to form a basic taper. It doesn't have to be too particular. My hands are going to get in the way of the lens, but I'll leave them out of the way when I get towards the end. It does help if you've got decent bobbin holders that will hold these bobbins tight. This one keeps working loose. Time to get another one, I think. Okay, so it's just a basic taper, nothing too fancy. Take it up and take it over and leave that hanging. Bring your thread back, the GSP thread, and tie down the underbody just with a couple of basic turns. Okay, snip that off, nice sharp pair of scissors. Just tie that down. Okay. Right, before I tie these back over the top, I'm just going to add a little bit of super glue. I use this Zap. You can use the full in mill, anything with a brush really. Just lay that down, just a little coat over there, just holds the stuff. When the fish do take these, it doesn't destroy the fly after one fish, which is great. Hopefully you catch more than one. Right, so get those threads there, and in nice touching turns just wind them up. This creates a lovely pink underbody. One's come loose, not a problem. We trim that one off. Put an extra turn at the top just to enhance the taper a bit. Take those over the top of the eye and catch them in. A couple of turns. Again, trim these off, don't throw them away, they always come in useful for something else. Okay, now where's the one that came undone? I'm going to leave that in there, I think that can become a part of the tail. There. That one's a bit too long, just trim that one. Now that's done that side, time to turn it over. Just put the tail to one side of the vise, bring the thread up to that. Right, now we're going to tie in the underwing. That's going to be supporting the fur. This is again the Range DIY pink crystal, roughly double the length of the hook, again not critical. Lay them down and pinch. Okay. Trim off the excess. Now I always lift these up again and take a turn of the thread underneath. The reason being, it just kicks them all up in the air, keeps them from obscuring the hook too much, and the fur will lay down over that now. So that's that bit, simple. Now the fur I use is the craft fur. It's an artificial fur, found it really good, very soft, moves lovely in the water. And I do get a bit squeamish about using rare species, but that's just my foible. Right, take a bunch of the fur, comes in a big couple of sheets like this. This is cream, it actually looks white, but I guarantee you it's cream. Take it right down to the base and snip it off. Now with any fur you get a lot of bulk in this part here. Okay, you need to thin that out just by doing that, and all this comes out. That's rubbish, just throw that away, just get rid of it. Just keep teasing it out until it stops coming free. That's probably good enough. Okay. Now gauge where this is going to go on the hook. It's going to be roughly double, so that's just overhanging there. It's about the same length as the range pink crystal, and just tie it down really tight with this stuff. Really put it down tight. Okay, 3 or 4 turns should do. You see how that lays back over the range underwing there. Looks lovely back at that 45 degree. Right, with all of this excess here, need to try and trim it. At a 45 degree angle, just to taper the head. So we're going to have to tie a nice tapered head on there. So wind the thread into that, and you see you can get a nice taper on that head now. Again, you can put it down really tight. Now you will see that there's loose bits of thread there. Just move that vise up a bit so you can see a bit. That's better. There's little wispy bits there. Now you can go to the trouble of actually trimming those with a pair of scissors, but what I've found is better is this cautery knife. It's a battery operated thing, and the head actually gets hot, and you can actually trim these up really nice. You have to be really careful because it will trim the thread up as well. Yeah. Turn this over, trim up the underside. Just swing that round, I can show you how it's trimmed it all up. Much neater than scissors, and that cautery knife is really good for a couple of different flies as well. I'm just going to tidy that up, and then I'm going to tie this off because the UTC thread has done its job now. That's going to hold all the fly in place. Now this particular fly again seems to work better with a pink head. Now you can paint them pink, you can use a pink varnish, but being lazy I'm going to use a pink thread to tie over the top of this. Just be careful how you trim this off. You get into the critical stages now. You don't want to put all this effort in and then cut the thread and it falls apart. So you've got a reasonably tapered head there. The fur is laying back at a nice angle, and I'm now going to use this pink, and it's Glow Bright number 2. It's a pink fluorescent. Can't get it in the camera. There we go. And it actually gives a lovely head on these. Now what you've got to be careful of is the GSP thread is so tough. you get used to pulling it down tight, but this stuff is quite fragile and you can't pull it. So tie that in just to catch it, trim off the excess, and then try to cover up the white GSP thread neatly, still forming the nice taper. That should do it. Now, don't pull on this stuff too tight, it will snap and it gets very difficult to trim it off neatly. So just a few half hitches. It's not actually holding the fly together, it's only a pink head. So if you use the dubbing needle, you can actually drop that last thread in wherever you want it. Just put it on reasonably tight and then trim it off again. And it's nearly finished. Just finish these off again with the Zap Attack or the fulling mill. And carefully, with a steady hand, which I haven't got, release the vise and just do both sides and the underside. If you get it into the eye, it's not too much of a problem. You can always clean that out with a dubbing needle, but it's probably best not to put too much on. You can always come back to these and put another layer on to shine them up. And basically that is it. If I just take that out and drop the vise down, that is a gotcha. It's got a lovely pink underbody on it. The crystal actually is a mixture of a pink and a green, but I did find that green was much better than red out where we went to Crooked Island. And I've tied these in size 4s, 6s and 8s, and you just amend the quantities to get the right proportions in the smaller flies. That is a cracking little fly. I had 10 in 3 days before I lost it, and silly me, I just had one fly of this, so then I had to use something else which wasn't as good. So I hope that works for you.